The Little Baker's Dream, a journey of love, baking, and legacy. In a small village, a young girl named Emma learns the art of baking from her beloved Granny Iris. After her grandmother's passing, she pursues her dream of opening a bakery, where she finds joy and community through her passion for creating delicious treats. Welcome to Quite Dreamtime, your peaceful escape for bedtime stories. Here we invite you to relax, unwind, and let soothing tales guide you into a restful sleep. Let go of the day's worries and enjoy the calm as we transport you to serene worlds. Once upon a time, in a small village surrounded by emerald, green meadows, and tall, whispering trees, lived a young girl named Emma. Emma wasn't like most children. While others her age played outside or spent their time drawing pictures, Emma was always found in her grandmother's kitchen, watching her every move as she baked the most wonderful things. From soft, fluffy loaves of bread to cakes covered in delicate frosting, every treat was like a piece of magic. And to Emma, the kitchen smelled of love, the scent of vanilla, cinnamon, and warm dough filling the air. Her grandmother, whom everyone lovingly called Granny Iris, was known throughout the village for her baking skills. She had a special way of making every baked good taste not only delicious, but full of joy. Baking, she often told Emma, is a little like making a wish. You start with something simple, and with a little patience and love, it grows into something beautiful. One day, Granny Iris sat down with Emma at the kitchen table after a long afternoon of baking. The sun was setting, casting a warm orange glow through the kitchen window. "Emma," Granny said softly, "you've always had a love for baking, just like me. I think it's time you start dreaming of your own bakery, just as I once did." Emma's eyes widened. "You mean I could open my own bakery?" she asked, her voice filled with excitement. Granny Iris smiles warmly, nodding at Emma's enthusiasm, surrounded by the delightful scents of freshly baked bread and pastries. Emma's heart raced with dreams of cakes and cookies, imagining the joy of sharing her creations with the village. Granny smiled, her eyes twinkling. "Yes, my dear, you already have everything you need, the heart, the hands, and the love for what you do. The bakery will follow." From that moment, Emma's dream began to take shape. For the next few years, Granny Iris taught her everything she knew. Every Saturday morning, Emma would help Granny knead dough, mix cake batter, and carefully pipe frosting onto cupcakes. "The secret is in the details," Granny would say. "It's the little things, like the gentle touch when shaping dough, or the careful addition of sugar, that make a treat truly special." When Emma turned 18, Granny Iris passed away. Though her heart was heavy with grief, Emma knew she had to honor her grandmother's memory by continuing to chase the dream they had talked about. She sold a few of her belongings, saved every penny she could, and eventually bought a tiny shop on the main street of the village. The building was small but filled with charm. Its wooden beams creaked when the wind blew, and the red and white striped awning fluttered in the breeze. Emma named her bakery Iris's Secret after her grandmother. She painted the walls a soft pastel pink with hand-painted flowers climbing up the corners. The counter was made of warm oak wood, and behind it stood the kitchen, where all the magic would happen. But, despite all her hard work, things didn't start off easy. Emma opened the bakery with excitement and hope, but for the first few weeks, not many people came in. She would wake up early every morning, often before the sun rose, and start baking. The oven would hum with warmth as she made loaves of bread, cinnamon rolls, and delicate croissants. Each tray of treats was carefully placed on the windowsill to cool, and Emma would sit quietly, waiting for someone to stop by. One crisp autumn morning, just as Emma was about to give up hope, an elderly woman walked into the bakery. She had silver hair, a warm smile, and a basket on her arm. Emma smiled nervously as the woman stepped up to the counter. "Good morning," Emma said softly. "How can I help you?" The old woman looked around, her eyes lighting up with appreciation. "This place has such a lovely feel. I can smell the cinnamon from the street. I've heard you make the best pastries in town." Emma blushed, feeling a rush of warmth in her chest. "Thank you," she said. "I make everything fresh each morning." The woman nodded, her eyes twinkling. "Well, I'd love to try one of your cinnamon rolls. They remind me of my grandmother's." Emma beamed and carefully placed a freshly baked cinnamon roll in front of the woman, dusted with powdered sugar. The woman took a bite and closed her eyes, savoring the flavor. "This," she said after a moment, "is like a memory of my childhood. You have a gift, child." Emma was overjoyed. That simple compliment made her feel as though all the hours of hard work, the quiet mornings alone in the kitchen, and the uncertainty were worth it. The woman paid for her pastry and before leaving, turned to Emma. "Keep baking, dear. The world needs more of this kind of warmth." From that moment, word began to spread about the little bakery on the corner. People came from all over to try Emma's pastries, drawn by the irresistible smell of fresh bread and the promise of delicious treats. Each day, Emma worked tirelessly, perfecting her recipes, tweaking her techniques, and smiling at every new face that came through the door. She made friends with her customers, learning about their lives and listening to their stories. The bakery became a place where the village gathered, not just for food, but for companionship. But it wasn't always easy. On some days, the oven would break, or the dough would rise too slowly. Emma's hands would ache, and her feet would grow sore from standing all day. Yet through it all, she remembered her grandmother's words. Baking is about patience, and patience brings rewards. One particularly busy week, Emma received a letter in the mail. It was an invitation to a baking competition being held in the next town over. Emma felt a flutter of excitement. If she won, she could expand her bakery and perhaps even hire help, something she had been dreaming of for months. The competition was held in a large hall filled with tables, each laden with treats that glistened under the bright lights. Emma was nervous but determined. She chose to bake her grandmother's signature recipe, a rich, buttery shortbread cookie with a delicate lemon glaze. Emma worked quickly but carefully, measuring the flour and sugar with precision, folding the dough gently and making sure the glaze was just the right consistency. As the judges tasted her cookies, Emma held her breath. They nodded appreciatively, murmuring to each other, and after what felt like hours, the head judge finally stood up. "We have our winner," he said. "Emma, from Iris's Secret Bakery, has created a truly magical treat. Her cookies are not only delicious, but full of heart." Emma's heart soared. She had won. But more than the prize money or recognition, Emma realized that the true reward was the joy she saw on the faces of those who tasted her creations. She was living her dream, just as Granny Iris had always encouraged her to do. Emma returned to her bakery with newfound confidence. She expanded her menu, adding seasonal treats and even offering custom cakes for special occasions. She hired a few helpers to manage the busy days, but she still made sure to be the heart of the bakery, working alongside her team and greeting every customer with a smile. Over the years, Iris's Secret became the village's favorite spot. It was more than just a place to get a snack. It was a sanctuary of warmth, love, and community. And every time Emma baked, she felt Granny Iris's spirit with her, guiding her hands and reminding her of the most important thing. Baking was about sharing love with the